What if I told you that the real ancestors of Native Americans are not who we always thought they were? DNA from ancient bones has revealed a truth that could rewrite the entire history of the Americas. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why 90% of what you've heard about Native Americans isn't the full story. For decades, textbooks told us a simple story. Humans came from Asia, walked across the Bering Land Bridge, entered Alaska, and slowly filled the American continent. It all sounded neat, linear, and simple. But bones and DNA tell a very different story. The truth is far more complex. It all began with a remarkable discovery. In Montana, the remains of a child who lived over 10,000 years ago were found. When scientists analyzed the DNA, the results shocked everyone. This child was directly related to modern Native Americans. That meant their roots were far deeper than anyone had imagined. But that was only the beginning. One of the most famous discoveries was the Kennewick Man. Found in 1996 along the Columbia River, the skeleton had been buried for nearly 9,000 years. When researchers looked at the bones, they said, "This doesn't look Asian." It looked more European, or maybe something entirely unknown. But when DNA was tested, it showed a direct link to modern Native Americans. This proved something shocking. The story of America's ancestors was not straight and simple. It was a mixture, a blend of multiple waves of migration. Here's the big question. If Native Americans didn't all come from Asia, then who were the others? Genetic analysis shows about 80 to 90% of native DNA comes from East Asia, but the remaining 10 to 20% is a mystery. That small percentage points to lost migrations, civilizations that arrived, mixed with the locals, and then disappeared. Some DNA samples even showed similarities to early Europeans, meaning possibly thousands of years before Columbus, people with European-like roots had already reached the Americas. And that's not all. Many scientists now believe early humans could have crossed oceans in primitive boats. They may have come from the Pacific Islands, or even from Europe, far earlier than we ever imagined. Then came the Anzac discovery in Montana, the only complete burial ever found from the Clovis culture, one of the earliest known American cultures, and the DNA directly connected to modern Native Americans, meaning the Clovis people didn't vanish. Their blood still flows in Native communities today. But here's where things got complicated. For Native tribes, these remains weren't just scientific samples, they were sacred ancestors. Tribes fought against scientists testing the bones. Scientists argued, without testing, the truth would remain hidden. The conflict lasted years. Eventually, new laws gave tribes the right to rebury ancestral remains. But before reburial, some DNA was collected, and those DNA samples unlocked secrets no one could have imagined. Many Native tribes have ancient stories about their origins. Some say they had always been in the land. Others tell stories of ancestors coming from across the sea or distant lands. And here's the strange part. Modern DNA studies actually confirm parts of these myths. For example, stories of ocean crossings match with genetic evidence of unexpected migrations. Some skeletons contained DNA that matched no known group on Earth. What does that mean? It means groups may have entered the Americas, mixed with others, and then vanished completely. The only trace left? A few fragments of DNA hidden in ancient bones. It's as if history erased parts of itself. So now, we can't just say America was filled by a single migration from Asia. The truth is much more complex. Native Americans are the product of many origins. Yes, their roots are strongly tied to Asia, but branches stretch to Europe, to the Pacific, and to groups still unknown. The official history was only one piece of the puzzle. But the real puzzle is much larger, and this is just the beginning. Because there's one skeleton so mysterious, scientists still haven't dared to release the full truth. If this story shocked you, make sure you watch the next video, because in that one, I'll reveal the darkest, most forbidden discovery in American history. And I promise, when you hear it, your mind will explode.